start inshallah. طيب السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما صليت على آل إبراهيم وبارك على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Inshallah, today, Sunday, the 17th of Rajab, 1440 Hijrah, and this matches the 24th of March 2019. And we are doing, inshallah, the book Mukhtasar Zaa'd Al Maa'd, the abridgment of the book Zaa'd Al Maa'd, provision for the hereafter. Before starting, first we have the Sheikh Akram Ziyada Abu Muhammad Hafidhullah Ta'ala visiting us, and it is going to be over the long weekend, 19th, 20th, 21st and 22nd of April, what they call Good Friday and Easter Monday, that holiday. And then more than likely he will be here actually the weekend before that, but I yet have to confirm that with you, inshallah ta'ala. If that happens, he comes earlier, then he will be here between the 12th and the 22nd, right? Between the 12th and 22nd. He could stay even more than the 22nd actually. So we will update you on this, but for the time being, the least is that inshallah he's going to be here over that 4-day weekend, inshallah ta'ala. And inshallah we chose a book that is an interesting book by a great scholar of the past, Al-Imam Al-Khatib Al-Baghdadi rahimahullah ta'ala. And his book is titled اقتضاء العلم العمل. Knowledge necessitates action. Knowledge necessitates acting upon it, or leads to acting upon the knowledge that you attained. Is a great work of his, and it is authenticated and printed by the Sheikh Nasruddin Albani rahimahullah so many years ago, 40 or 50 years maybe. So he will be going through that book. And if he comes earlier, the weekend before, then we'll have more things to be discussed, or more work that we will do together with him, inshallah ta'ala. So we will update you as to the details of that. That's one thing. Another brother just reminded me before we start that he's always reminded of the ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, هو الذي خلق الموت والحياة. He is the one who created death and life. Death is a creation, and life is a creation of Allah, right? Both of them are creation, right? That's why Allah will turn this creation, death, into a ram on the day of judgment, and that animal will be slaughtered between paradise and the hellfire, right? It's just a creation of Allah. That's why Allah changes that death into this animal, and it will be slaughtered between paradise and the hellfire, and it will be told to the people of the fire and also to the people of paradise, خُلُودٌ فَلَا مَوْتٌ. Perpetuality, you're going to live forever. No death whatsoever. Death is finished. No more dying. Right? It's a creation of Allah, and Allah took away that creation. Right? And therefore, you will remain forever. Those who are in hell, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, they will remain forever. Those who are in paradise, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be amongst them, they will remain therein forever. Right? So this is the case. And the brother says, this is why we are here. Yes, this is why we come here and insist on coming here. Right? Because وَمَجْلِسُ عِلْمٍ عند ربك فضله يزيد كثيرا عن سني عبادتي. Right? I mentioned this line of poetry from one of the mashayikh, one of the imams in Medina, Abdul Qadir Shaybat al-Hamd. He used to be a speech maker. He used to give lectures in Medina for a long time. And even now he's very, very old. So one time I was hearing his lecture in the Masjid al-Nabawi. So I was looking, going around, where is this speech being made? It happened to be a recorded speech that they were replaying. He's not there, but his work is continuing there, right? Of course, as you know, the different imams, different sheikhs, they have different kursi, chair, different stations where they do that. So I overheard his speech. So I went to where it is, but there is nobody there, but I can still hear it. How is it? And I recognized his voice, but then it appeared he's not there, but his words were still there. So this is one line of poetry. He says, وَإِن كُنْتَ تَرْجُو لِلْإِلَهِ تَقَرُّبًا. If you want to get closer to Allah, you're hoping to get closer to Allah, فَبِالْفَرْضِ وَالْمَسْنُونِ خَيْرُ وَسِيلَتِي. The best means to get closer to Allah is the fard. Anything that Allah made obligatory upon you, a must, you take care of that. That is the closest way to get closer to Allah. Next to that, after fulfilling what is fard, is to do what is recommended. Al-masnoon, what is recommended. So after you look after your fara'id, obligations, then look after the recommended acts. Look after the recommended acts. Then he highlights the excellence of seeking knowledge and sitting in the sittings of knowledge. Are we online? Right? So those who are with us physically here, their reward is higher than those who are not, actually. Who can make it, of course. Those who cannot make it, well, we hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them the same reward. But he says, وَمَجْلِسُ عِلْمٍ, a sitting of knowledge. عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ فَضْلُهُ, its excellence with your Lord. يَزِيدُ كَثِيرًا, it is far much more that is in reward. يَزِيدُ كَثِيرًا عَنْ سِنِيِّ عِبَادَتِهِ, it is far much more in reward to sit in a session of knowledge than years of worship. Years of worship. Imagine yourself worshipping Allah, ibadah, salah and fasting, and years for years. Maybe one session of knowledge is equal to those years of ibadah. And I think I mentioned this hadith to you before, but I will mention it again, and this time I will mention it in full. And inshallah, the reward of that goes to the brother who reminded me of the ayah. It says, and this hadith is about jihad fi sabilillah. It says, it's in the Sunan of Al-Imam At-Tirmidhi, Sahih Sunan At-Tirmidhi, hadith 1650. It says from Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu, مر رجل من أصحاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بشعب في عيينة من ماء عذبة فأعجبته لطيبها. He said that a man from the companions of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he passed by a place that has a little spring of water that is fresh and sweet, nice, pure water, pure spring water. So he likes it. He admired, he likes it so much because it was so good. لطيبها. فقال لو اعتزلت الناس فأقمت في هذا الشعب. He said, now, how about if I just seclude myself from the people, stay away from the people, isolate myself from them, and I reside in this nice, lovely area, right? Lovely place. ولن أفعل حتى أستأذن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. But I won't do that up until I take permission from the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. The excellence of asking the people of knowledge. فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Right? Ask the people of knowledge if you don't know. He said, فذكر ذلك لرسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. He mentioned that to the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم. فقال لا تفعل. So he said, do not do that. فإن مقام أحدكم في سبيل الله أفضل من صلاته في بيته 70 عاما. For the one of you, for him to stay in the way of Allah, take a place and a position in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala في سبيل الله, it is better than his prayer in his home 70 years. 70 عاما. Right? Imagine you are in that nice place, spring of water, and you're doing fine. But alhamdulillah, you are a worshipper. You pray and you fast and you do whatever acts of worship. Here, it mentions the salah. Better than the prayer for 70 years. Salah is one of the most rewarding acts. After ash-shahadatain, there comes salah, the farida. And then the voluntary prayers, they have a lot of reward too. He said, ألا تحبون أن يغفر الله لكم ويدخلكم الجنة? Don't you love that Allah will forgive you and enter you into paradise? أغزوا في سبيل الله. Fight in the way of Allah. من قاتل في سبيل الله فواق ناقة وجبت له الجنة. The one who fights in the way of Allah, just the time it takes to, when you are milking the she-camel, the one time you pull the breast to get the milk, that is one time, call it فواق, right? وجبت له الجنة. يعني how much the time it takes to do this? 1 second, 2 seconds, pull and leave. That's one time. 1 second, 2 seconds. These 2 seconds, they are better than 70 years of salah. 70 years of salah. Imagine this. Yeah. Imagine. Compare. Right? And seeking knowledge, as it has been said, that the one who does not view seeking knowledge to be part of jihad fi sabilillah, then his intellect is deficient. His mind is deficient. He doesn't think straight. Jihad is actually, seeking knowledge is actually jihad fi sabilillah. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah At-Tawbah, He mentioned that the people cannot go out, all of them, to seek knowledge, right? A group of them will go seek knowledge, then come back and warn their people when they come back to them, right? So imagine people are doing jihad in the way of Allah, and a group of them go out to seek knowledge and come back to them to teach them. Those are in the way of Allah, and those who are seeking knowledge, they are in the way of Allah also, right? Especially in those hard times of ours where the people have dedicated so little or no time at all to seeking knowledge, going to the masajid and sitting in the sessions of knowledge, right? In a way that, people come to the masajid and come to the sessions of knowledge, they find it sometimes tough, especially along with the social events. Usually they take place at the same time as those lectures are taking place. Why? Because people have the weekend, and that's where people invite each other. That's where people, it happens to all of us, including me, myself. Every time I get invited, sorry, no Saturday, no Sunday. When are you going to be invited then? Well, sorry, I cannot be invited. I'm committed to this, right? So that's that. but then the reward of it is so great. Even if the audience or the attendance is not that great, it does not matter how many people, because this is not based on numbers, right? And it is mentioned that Al-Imam Ata, this is from the great scholars of the Tabi'een, is a man who have seen the companions, radiyallahu anhum, right? Al-Imam Ata, right? Imam al-Dhahabi, he mentions in his book Siyar A'lam al-Nubala, he mentions from Al-Awza'i, Al-Imam Al-Awza'i, who said, مات عطاء بن أبي رباح يوم مات وهو أرضى أهل الأرض عند الناس. عطاء ibn Abi Rabah, he died the day when he died, while he was the most pleasing to the people of the earth. Yani the people of earth on earth were so much satisfied with him. You mention Ata to them, oh, everybody say a word of praise. This is how he was. And he was who he was. Right? Al-Imam Ata, rahimahullah. Right? So, he said, Al-Awza'i is narrating that, he said, وَمَا كَانَ يَشْهَدُ مَجْلِسَهُ إِلَّا 9 أو 8. No one used to sit with this man who the people of the earth, all of them are pleased and satisfied with him. Right? He's from the Tabi'een. No one used to sit in his session of knowledge except 9 or 8. Right? 9 or 8 people sitting for Ata. Right? Who the people are, so much satisfied with him. What about people? They don't even know your name, let alone them being satisfied with it. They don't even know your name. And if they know your name, you know how people have good thoughts, حسن الظن, in our time in each other, right? When you think of a man that you know, do you think about the best things you know about him? Or you think about the worst things you have seen of him, right? You almost can be identified with a mistake that you have done within a 10-year. Then they will know you through the 100 good things that you have done, right? This is the people of our time. Yani we are like that, unfortunately. إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ اللَّهِ. Right? إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ اللَّهِ. So, Al-Imam Al-Dhahabi mentions this from him. Right? So, we should not be deceived by a session you have 100 people or 200 or 1,000 attending. Right? We shouldn't be much deceived by that. Or a session where only 2 or 3 or 10 are attending. It does not matter. What matters is really, are we on the path or are we not on the path? Right? Are we teaching and learning, or are we joking and amusing and entertaining? Right? That's what matters, really. Right? That is the case. So, من طلب العلم وذاكره صلحت دنياه وآخرته فأدم للعلم مذاكرة فحياة العلم مذاكرته. The one who seeks knowledge and studies it, remind one another of the knowledge, طلب العلم وذاكره, his worldly life and next life will be reformed and rectified. فأدم للعلم مذاكرة, continuously study and remind one another of knowledge. فحياة العلم مذاكرته. Knowledge will remain alive as long as you are studying and reminding each other of the knowledge. That is the case. So I said about the Sheikh Abu Muhammad Akram Ziyada coming. I mentioned about this reminder about sessions of knowledge. The third thing is regarding Hajj, as we are going to start today, the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ regarding his Hajj and Umrah. And I will keep this session going on with the Hajj because the Hajj time is coming. The Hajj time is coming. So I will keep doing Zaa'd Al Maa'd every time up until the time, moves ahead, and then we have extra time to do other books. But for now, I will keep doing Zaa'd Al Maa'd every time. I will not alternate with the other books. The reason being that we need to cover this Hajj program or Hajj that is coming. Especially, I am going with a group this year. They call it Sahel Hajj and Umrah. And they asked for sessions for the Hajj. So I said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destined for us that we will, just start doing the Hajj program, Hajj session or Hajj discussion from Zaa'd Al Maa'd. It just happened to be at this time. We finished fasting last time, and I just started with the Hajj this time. So I will keep it going like that, inshallah. Before going into the Hajj, I want to remind and emphasize something that was discussed last time. Just remind myself and yours, and probably if they were, I wanted to watch last session, but I couldn't get the time to watch it. But just in case, just in case there was something that was not clear, it was not clear last time about the best of fasting, the best of night prayer. The hadith in the Sunan of Abi Dawood, Sahih Sunan Abi Dawood. Also, actually, it is in Sahih Muslim with a little bit different wording, but it is in Sahih Muslim, right? أحب الصيام إلى الله تعالى صيام داود. This is the wording of Sunan Abi Dawood. The Sahih Muslim is very similar. The most beloved fasting to Allah Ta'ala is the fasting of Dawood. وأحب الصلاة إلى الله تعالى صلاة داود. And the most beloved prayer to Allah is the prayer of Dawood. كان ينام نصفه. He used to pray, he used to sleep half of it. He used to sleep half of it, half of the night, that is. ويقوم ثلثه. And he would pray, stand up in prayer, 1/3 of the night, that is. وينام سدسه. And he would sleep 1/6 of it, 1/6 of the night. وكان يفطر يوما ويصوم يوما. He used to break fast one day and he used to fast one day. This is the best of fasting and the best of the night prayer. Now the best of the night prayer is this, which we mentioned last time, and I just mentioned the hadith, but I didn't mention the wording of it. And I was asked, where did this, distribution came from? This is where it comes from. Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam used to sleep half of the night, and he used to stand up to pray. He used to stand up to pray 1/3, and he used to go to sleep again 1/6 of the night. So I was saying, divide the night into 6 parts. 6 parts. 6 parts. Now, when is it that Allah comes down to the lower heaven, saying, "Who asked my forgiveness, and I will give him. I will forgive him. Who asks of me, I will give him." Which part of the night? The last part, which is which part? We're talking about 2 ahadith now. Allah comes down to the lower heaven in the last part of the night. This part I want to know. Is it 1/3? Is it half? Is it 2/3? How much is it of the night? The last 1/3 of the night. The last 1/3 of the night. If you divide the night into 6 parts. If you divide the night into 6 parts, right? 6. So the last third of the night is the last 2/6, right? The last 2/6 of the night. So then, Qiyam and night prayer, and the last third of the night when Allah comes down. If you divide the night into 6 parts, you sleep half of the night. That is the first 3/6, right? That's half of the night, right? The first 3. Then you get up and pray. You get up and pray the 1/3, right? So 1, 2, 3, that's sleeping. 4th and 5th is for night prayer. Then you go back and sleep 1/6, the last part. Correct? Understood? Understood. We divided the night into 6 portions. So half of the 6 is 3. So the first 3 parts, you go to sleep. Then you get up and pray 1/3. 1/3 is 2. Right? 2 parts. So that's the 4th and the 5th part of the night. 4th and 5th, 6th of the night. Then you go back to sleep the 6th part, the last part of the night. Then you wake up for Fajr. And this was actually the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used to do that. And Aisha in the Sahih, she mentioned that always around the time of Fajr, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be sleeping. And as you know, Bilal comes and tells him to wake up, right? So this is the case. This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do. Not all the time. Sometimes it's different. I told you, sometimes he would do different things according to the situation. But this is the best thing you can do. By his statement, it's clear. And Aisha said that he was, alayhi salam, around the Fajr time, you find him asleep mostly. So he would go back to sleep that 1/6. Maybe, as I said, some of us, we cannot do that. Or we are afraid that we will miss Fajr, right? If we go back to sleep. So, you do what is most suitable to your situation, right? Most suitable to your situation, right? But if you follow this sunnah that Dawood ﷺ used to do, which is the best night prayer, then you will be waking up the 4th and the 5th, 6th of the night to pray. Now, when do you get the night prayer time and also An-Nuzul al-Ilahi, the time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes down? When do you get that? If you pray the 4th and the 5th part of the night. Which one is the time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes down saying, who asks forgiveness, I will forgive him? Is it the 4th part or the 5th part? The 5th part. The 5th part. And this is where I felt maybe some mistake happened, that you thought that this is the only part of the night. But I was saying, the 5th part, it stuck in my mind because if you want to get up the best time, that is the best time. As it's stuck in my mind like that. So I keep repeating, it is the 5th. But if you go for 1/3 of the night, that's actually 4th and 5th. But you will match the time when Allah comes down. That will be the 5th part. Well, if you stayed awake and you prayed 5th and 6th, or you woke up only for the 6th, as many of us might be doing that. If Fajr nowadays is like 6:05 or so. So, you want to wake up around 5. You want to wake up around 5 o'clock, right? And, pray whatever Allah destines for you. Then you head to the masjid after that. You don't want to go back to sleep and then get up, right? Although Rasulullah ﷺ, that's what he used to do. Right? Even he prays the sunnah and he lays down for a little bit. Sunnat al-Fajr even. right? After praying the sunnah, after the time is in, he lies down on his side. As we did that when we did his guidance in Sunnat al-Fajr, alayhi salatu wasalam. That was passed. And Imam al-Qayyim covered that. So I just wanted to make this crystal clear to you, right? Now, one last issue that was mentioned last time, and actually, if you go back to our discussion of Zaa'd Al Maa'd, in the guidance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his night prayer, you will find that I said exactly what you heard. There is in the earlier sessions that we did, the guidance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in night prayer. So that time we mentioned the hadith of Dawood, and we mentioned what the meaning of it was, and that you divide it into 6 parts. The first 3 parts you go to sleep. The 4th and 5th part you pray, right? And if you pray the 4th and the 5th part, then the 5th part will be part of the time when Allah comes down. That is the best time for dua, right? Then you go back to sleep on the 6th part of the night. You wake up fresh and clear for Salat al-Fajr, right? And when you go to the Fajr, you won't look like, your face is pale, and the people, they say, oh, mashallah, he was praying all night long, right? If you go back and sleep a little nap, and then go to Fajr, you look like fresh, you just woke up, right? You won't fall into showing off and riyah, and they say, mashallah, this man, look at him, he prayed all night long, right? As one of the benefits, the scholars said, one of the benefits of this 1/6 part, the last part, going to sleep, it will make you freshen up to go for Salatul Fajr. Clear and fresh. You had some little nap, right? So this is the case. طيب. So if you go back to that class that was recorded, is online, Hadi Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam fi Qiyam al-Layl, this is what you will find there. And I did mention there, that time, that you count the night from Maghrib up until Fajr. Last time I told you what? Isha till Fajr. Why did I say that? Because the scholars differ, right? And from the scholars I quoted from them last time that you count between Maghrib and Isha, and Maghrib to Fajr, and then you divide it into 6 parts. Amongst those same scholars that I happened to be reading for these past days, last week before I gave the lecture, same scholars, they were saying you count from Isha, right? Because there is a difference of opinion. You see, if you sleep half of the night and you count Maghrib from that, Maghrib, you're not sleeping after Maghrib. You sleep after Isha, right? You sleep after Isha. So if you count from Maghrib, that is not time for sleeping. You have to wait for Isha. So some scholars, they said, no, you count from Isha up until Fajr. Then you divide that into 6 portions, right? So whichever one you took is not a big issue, inshallah, because the difference is what? The difference is about 1 hour, which means if you divide it into 6 parts, right? Right? Yani not much. Yani if we divide it into 3, that's 20 minutes. So you're talking about what? Yani if we say yani the 4th and the 5th, 6th of the night, right? They are like, let's say, depending on the different times of the year, let's say if you count it from Isha till dawn, and the time you counted was about 1 hour, let's say, 1 hour. Then if you count from the time of Maghrib, it will be 1 hour and 10-15 minutes more. So we're talking the difference between them is just this, yani, not a big difference, right? And I don't think it matters too much in our case, right? except for those brothers who do qiyam for 2 hours or 3 hours. I'm pointing to someone behind you. Yeah. It doesn't exist there. Not you. Someone else there who prays 2 and 3 hours every night, mashallah, qiyamul layl. Right? طيب. So it won't matter too much for us. If we woke up and prayed 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 or 11 rak'at, that would be excellent. Even if you wake up, most of you I know, they will wake up just sometime after dawn, half hour or 1 hour, and then they will pray whatever Allah destines for them. Alhamdulillah, this is great. Those of us who are able to do more, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help them. And we're just, wanting to know what was the guidance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How did he do things, alayhi salatu wasalam? After we get the knowledge, the correct one, then we try to apply it as much as we can. And hopefully this book that Sheikh Akram Abu Muhammad will do, will help us steer ourselves in that direction. The book by Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, اقتضاء العلم العمل, that knowledge leads and necessitates action, right? So after knowing the excellence of good deeds, we hope that we will be facilitated to do these good deeds. You wanted to say something? Yes, which is the 5th and the 6th part of the night, the last 1/3. Yes, that is the time when Allah comes down.
That was 4 to 6 before 6 of 5 is Fajr start. So until Fajr.
You're talking the timing now, or we're talking the portions? Divide the night into 6 parts. Either you count from Maghrib until dawn. See how many hours is that? Let's say you found that it is 6 hours. So divide it into 6 parts. 1 hour each. So you're going to do qiyam the 4th and the 5th hour. Then the 6th hour you go back to sleep. Then wake up for Fajr. Right? If the night was 12 hours, the whole night was 12 hours, like it used to be in the winter time. Right? So if you divide it into 6 pieces, right? It's going to be 2 hours each, right? 2 hours each. So if Fajr was around 6 o'clock, right? Then from 4 to 6, that is the last third of the night. 4 to 6, right? And from 2 to 4, right? 2 to 4, right? 2 to 4, that is the 5th, 6th. And you're supposed to do qiyam from 12 to 4. Right? Because every 1/6 part is 2 hours. We said, right? 12 over 6 is 2 hours. Right? So 12 to 4, that is the time of qiyam. 12 to 4. And 4 to 6, that is the time you sleep again. Right? The last 6th. Right? And this remains for you 4 and 4. Right? So the 5th and 6th, the last third of the night.
So 6 is like 4 to 6. This 2 hours.
Nowadays, Maghrib, let's say 7:30 Maghrib.
7:30, yeah.
Nowadays, Maghrib is 7:30, 7:33, 7:34. And Fajr is about 6:05. Say 6. Right? So from 7:30 up until 6, how much is that? 7:30 till 6. 7:30 till 6:30, how much is that? 7:30. Right? 11 hours, right? So it's actually 6. So it's 10 hours and a half. 10 hours and a half. Leave the half. we have 10 hours divided into 6 portions. Hmm? Counting from Maghrib, yes. You can do both. We already mentioned that. You want to confuse them or what? Hmm? So 10 hours divided by 6. Huh? So 1 hour and 1.6, right? Mm. نعم. So anyhow, so you have 6, that's 6 hours, and then we have 4 hours and a half, right? عفوا. So all of this night, if you have 10 hours, 10 and a half, that's 630 minutes. Okay? 630 minutes divided by 12, right? So each 1/6 is mhm.
Let's say 140 minutes, 1 hour and 40 minutes or 43 minutes.
Yes, that's how يعني roughly. Okay. So anyhow, yeah, about يعني احنا as I said it's roughly يعني, right? So now you divide over the night. خلاص يعني we're not gonna finish يعني do the calculations yourself. We're not teaching math here. I'm not good in math. So he's the okay. Imagine this 142 is like 142, and do the math and give us. Okay, go with the dollars. There used to be a man selling a cucumber. It's a joke. You know, everything he counts with cucumbers because he's so quick with that. Right? So this is the case with the night. So if we say 1 hour and 40 minutes, يعني if you want to do the last period, this is when it starts. So يعني basically you're gonna wake up like around 4:30 or so, and then you're gonna stay up until around 6 o'clock, right? You sometime to make wudu, right? Relieve yourself, make wudu, get ready, and then, you know, that's the last. If you do the last 1/6 of the night, right? The last 1/6 of the night, and then if you want to do before, then, yeah, you need to. And the app that our brother Umar last time he had, if you have the Islamic Finder, it shows you, the app shows you what time you're supposed to wake up. It tells you qiyam, and this is how they do it. Okay, so tell us these days what time it is going to be for qiyam al-layl. Huh? Just use the app. Yeah, I know, but we laid it down how much. Yani the rest is just we don't want to spend the time doing that. He has the app, so he can tell us what the app says, the Islamic Finder. It will tell you Qiyam is this, right? hmm You couldn't find it?
But just generally which one is download, I find it. But
Well, this app is just, you know, let me tell you, just a second here. Okay, so today in Scarborough, Qiyam is 2:14 a.m. Okay? Qiyam is 2:14 a.m. according to the people of Scarborough, right? The only difference is there is no difference because they count from Maghrib. If they were to count from Isha, it will be different. But they're counting from Maghrib, right? Now, if you want to count from Isha, right? Then you're gonna cut, yani, no, not 1 hour. You're gonna cut like, because if we said 1 hour and, the difference now here, they have Maghrib is 7:34 and Isha is 9. But actually, the one we have, the calendar we have is like not so. Yani Isha to tonight is like 8:35 or so, right? So you need to put that in the timing difference between the Maghrib and Isha is almost 1 hour, 1 hour and a half here, according to the Islamic Finder, because they use 15 degrees for Salat al-Isha. We use 12 for Salat al-Isha. But anyhow, this is a good estimation here. It's around 2:15, you wake up to pray, right? Right, and then around 5:30, you're gonna go back to sleep again, right? So let's say for rest roughly, 2:30 to 5:30, you wake up to pray, and then you go back to sleep. Up until more than that, 2:30 to 4:30, 4:30, 2:30 to 4:30 or 2:15 to 4:30. Then at 4:30 you go back to sleep and you wake up for Fajr, right? Around 6 for Fajr.
this time is 6. So only 5th I have to pray. Or just 5th. This is 5th. So 6th is the last one.
Yes, this one is the 4th and the 5th from 2:14. Yeah, 2:14. That's what I'm saying. So you pray from 2:14 up until 4:30. You pray Qiyamul Layl. Then you go back to sleep. You wake up at 6 for Fajr. Okay?
If let's say for the weakness, you want to wake up like at 3, you pray maybe
You, mhm. You wake up at 3. Okay?
3 o'clock, and then laziness, making good preparation and that. You pray 15 minutes and you go to sleep for you to go to get energy
Mm-hmm.
to go to work. Is it mandatory you have to stay 2 hours or you can pray as much as you can?
Mandatory.
For 2 hours,
Qiyamul Layl, is it mandatory? Qiyamul Layl is not mandatory. Qiyamul Layl is recommended. If you wake up any part of the night, if you wake up any part of the night, you say La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulk wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir, subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. And then you make wudu, you pray 2 rak'at, you make dua, Allah answers your dua. And you make 2 rak'at, Allah accepts those 2 rak'at. This is any part of the night. Just 2 rak'at. This is in Sahih al-Bukhari. We know this hadith. So this is aside from the night prayer. The night prayer is not a must, but it's highly recommended. It is the best prayer after the fard. So if you wake up and pray whatever, even very little short time, you fulfilled that voluntary. But of course, the best is to do this sunnah, to pray 1/3 of the night, which is this time it's from 2:15 up until 4:30. If you want to fulfill that, you pray about 11 rak'at then. You pray 11 rak'at. 2 and 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, right? 5 sets of 2, then 1 rak'ah, you finish. That is the witr, right? That's that. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. No Hajj today, just قيام الليل. I hope